Meetings to plan a meeting to plan a meeting, also known as the circle jerk of the business world. Read this story and more about all the crazy people Jen Mann has worked with over the years. Working with People I Want to Punch in the Throat is now available everywhere books are sold.
Hi, I'm Denise Grover-Swank.
And I'm Jen Mann.
And we are two Midlife Mommas. Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
And welcome to week 4 of our podcast. Time's flying.
I can't believe it. We're like a thing now.
I know. And so we already had a topic. We were going to do another topic, but we were going to put 2 topics together last time because we didn't think we'd fill up a half hour, and
Shocker.
Totally did. I think we could fill up a lot of time with about anything.
Spoiler alert, Jen can talk a lot, and so can Denise.
But hopefully we're entertaining, so yeah. Yeah. So this topic, though, is one that's really, especially when you were getting ready to come over, I was scrubbing my floors. So I was like, it's a topic that we noticed in your Midlife Bites group.
Yeah.
A topic that's come up many times, and it's the fact of moms doing everything.
Yes.
And I've had 2 marriages. So I'm extra qualified to talk. And a single, so I've had 3 different phases. So I'm extra qualified to talk about this subject. So.
And you have a lot of kids.
And I have a lot of kids.
And pets.
6
to care
kids,
for.
and I don't even know how many dogs. I lost count. So yeah.
There were a lot greeting me at the door.
There are
today.
no more. I keep telling my children, no more dogs, no more dogs. Of course, I said that after my last dog died last fall. But then Julia, my daughter who was in college, called me up and said, Mom, I'm at a pet adoption fair, and there's this 10-year-old dachshund who's got terrible rotten teeth, and nobody's gonna adopt him, Mom. His family just abandoned him, and we can't just leave him. And so yeah, because I used to have a family blog called There's Always Room for One More.
That's cute.
Yeah, because there was always okay, what's one more? But I've said that it's now closed. I put a closed sign over that.
and my family blog is called People I Want to Punch in the Throat.
Right.
So
we're
we're like the same, but yet not. And we have no pets, and I'm sorry, I thought my phone was. We have no pets, and we have nothing. I won't even let them have a goldfish.
Yeah, well, Ryan has a gecko.
Oh,
yeah, but I had the rule was I had nothing to do with this sucker. I would buy food when it's time, but I'm not in the cage. I'm not telling him to clean the cage. It's totally his deal.
Right. So how old are your kids?
Okay, so my youngest is 11, and she just turned 11. No, she turned 12. Sorry. And then
Poor
my
youngest.
oldest is 31. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And 5 of them live at home?
Yes, 5 of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you have chores that everybody has to do? You're not the only one mopping the floors, right?
Usually I'm the only one mopping the floors because I'm kind of persnickety about it, but they do other things. They do the dishwasher, and the rule is everybody has to pitch in to clean up after dinner.
Okay.
I usually cook, but this year I think we're gonna start making it so that everybody has to take a turn because they're old enough.
Yeah.
I have a 16-year-old and I have a 13-year-old, and then my just turned 12-year-old, they all know how to cook ramen noodles. They could live off ramen noodles, so they know how to work around a stove. And so sometimes we'll have family dinner nights where my oldest son comes home, and then we all pick a recipe, and then we all cook together. That's
nice.
Always fun.
Yeah.
But everybody always cleans up. That's the rule. They don't get up from the table and walk away. Everybody has to help carry plates over, and we all clean up. And
that's good.
Yeah.
Because I feel and it's not just even the chores of cleaning. It's also just making the eye appointments, getting everybody's haircut, getting the school supplies before school starts next week. All these things that my husband doesn't even know what I do half the time. Right. Yesterday he came downstairs, and I keep a list on my desk. I'm a paper person, so it's I have a to-do list.
Yeah.
And it's everything on there from, write a new book to get
whip that one out.
I like crossing that one off.
Yeah.
And then, write a new book to buy socks,
Yeah.
And he just doesn't understand. Like, now he does the laundry because a few years ago when I first started writing full time, I about had like a nervous breakdown because he was always asking me, because we both worked from home, so he was there.
Oh, yeah.
But he would be like, he's like, are you ever going to do the laundry? I'm like, I don't know. Am I? I was like, when would you like me to do it?
Yeah, right?
And so I was like, are your hands broken? Because in those days, our kids were smaller. And so they couldn't really pitch in. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm already taking care of those two. Like, maybe you could fend for yourself.
Yeah.
And so then, but he was sort of like, all you have to do is like, ask me. He doesn't take initiative.
Yes.
But if I tell him what I need done.
That's pretty much every husband out
like
there,
in very
right?
clear, short, concise sentences. Like, you put the laundry in. And I have since taken back my own laundry.
Yeah.
Like, I let him do his own.
Yeah.
And now the kids do their own.
Yeah, my kids do all their own. Even the 11-year-old.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, my youngest is 12. And so she does her own. The boy is 14. He does his own. But I've taken mine back because my husband was wrecking too many of my things. Yeah. But it's like, but I think though, but it's not, like the chore thing we have kind of divvied up pretty good. It's just all the other stuff that he doesn't really recognize. Like, now he does things though, like get my oil change. Like, I never know. He went out of town for like a month this summer and my car blew a tire and I was like super pissed off. I'm like sitting on the side of the highway, like, practically dying, from people hitting me. And I called him up and I was like, what am I supposed to do? I don't even know how to do this. And he was like, I thought you were a strong, capable woman. I'm like, fuck you. What do I do? And so he was like, oh, the tire blew? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I was supposed to get those changed before I left.
Oh, no. He should not have admitted that.
Right? So now I have to take tires over. Because I'm like, clearly you cannot be in charge of anything. But I think that's part of my problem, too, is that I want it done a certain way. Yeah. And it's like my way or the highway. Yeah. And I think you have to be able to, like, let that go.
Yeah, and that's been hard. Like, towels, so the kids do all their own laundry, but towels, especially in the summer, it's like, okay, we should just all be doing a load of towels. We have pools here, although it's not open right now. We've been at the lake all summer. But like the rule was somebody had to do a load of towels every day. So they would switch. And so they had to put them, how hard is that? You put a load of towels in the morning, you put them in the dryer, and then you fold them and put away. But still, like, I still had to chase people down do it.
That's how I feel about dishes. Like, my kids are supposed to do the dishes in the dishwasher and they're really good at loading it, but nobody ever turns it on.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you notice that this morning we were out of forks? Like, maybe you thought like what we were going to do for lunch today. And they're just like, oh, I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So I find that you have to be very, very clear and loud.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm terrible at delegation, though.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. And so, like, this morning I was like, before you got here, there was a big package of Costco size paper towels and toilet paper that people had just been open. It was out in the hall. It's supposed to be on the shelves in the laundry room. And people had just been grabbing them from the hallway. And I'm like, okay, everybody's just walking by. Nobody thinks. So I finally asked one of the kids, but they spend a lot of time up in their room. So I'm like, oh, I got to ask them or I got to haul them down. And So
that reminds me, okay, I want to know, do you have stuff delivered here or do you do like that pickup, where you can order ahead and go pick up like the Costco size paper towels and all that?
Yes.
That's another thing. Like you're the one replenishing all that stuff.
I hate grocery shopping. I hate it. So sometimes I'll have it delivered, but lately I've just been going and picking it up and it's great because I spend less money. Yeah. Because I'm just getting specific things. And then we just go pick up things that we need. But I order a lot of things from Amazon. A lot of things from Amazon.
I started doing Sam's Club and I started doing like the other day. We were joking in my Midlife Bites group that you order stuff and you forget you've ordered it. And so a box arrives, you're like, ooh, what did I get?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really good stuff from Amazon or something. You're like, oh yeah, I ordered these shoes, yay. But then other times, like last week, I got these 3 giant boxes and my kids were so excited. They're like, oh my God, Mom, what'd we get? And I was like, I don't know. I opened up and it was toilet paper and paper towels and
They were so excited then, right?
And then they were like, oh, I'm like, oh good, go put these away.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I'm glad you're here. So it does bring them to the door at least,
There you go.
So I was like, since you're here.
My children all ignore knocks at the door. I'm in the bathroom, half naked. Somebody get the door. Or wearing my nightgown the first time that you showed up. I was like, I'm not answering the door. I'm wearing my nightgown and no bra.
Somebody let the woman in. That's the other thing. We're the only ones who open the door, probably.
Yeah, my children will ignore the doorbell. They're like, and they will claim, well, you said not to open the door. I said not to open the door when you were 5,
right?
Okay? You're 16 now. You're perfectly capable of opening the door. I keep wanting to get one of those Ring doorbells, so I don't have to open the door.
Yeah. You just look on your phone and be like, pass.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We have God, thank you.
But we do have chore charts. In the summer, we have chore charts.
And do they follow them?
Yes. It's the rule. They have to do it.
So what happens? Like, what are your consequences?
Well, Ryan, the best one to do is take away a day of video games. And that will straighten that up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
For the other girls, it's usually Netflix. But they're really pretty good about doing it once we get into the groove.
Yeah.
It takes them, and it rotates. Like, we rotate chores.
So it's not always, you're not always the sweeper.
Now, some of them have standard chores, and it's kind of falling under gender a little bit. Like, Ryan takes out the trash when it's full. But Emma takes out the recycling, and then Jenna is kind of in charge of dogs and stuff. So but those are their set assigned things that don't change, but everything else kind of rotates.
Yeah, because I think that's the hardest part is the consequences, because now it's there's no more, go sit on the step and think about what you did.
Yeah, right.
They just don't even, nothing
no timeouts won't work.
No, nothing phases them. And so, I think taking away phones is always good.
And, we've done that,
anything that will limit their access to their people, into their entertainment.
Yeah.
But even then, I have one, though, my son is just, there's nothing that will get to him. He'll come to you and he'll be like, I don't feel like working today, and he'll just hand you his phone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm out. And I was like, no, it doesn't work that way. And he's like, fire me. And you stand there going, I admire this, but man, I can't stand you right now. You're brilliant, but sit down before I beat you.
I would be pretty upset.
Yeah, and so the first time he did it, we were just sort of flabbergasted. We weren't even, and it was like a standoff. Because I was like, he'll be back in a day, and month. He was gone for a month.
Oh my gosh.
He let me have his, and it was the greatest month ever, though, too, because he hung out with us because he had nothing better to do.
Yes.
And then he realized that he'd made a horrible mistake, because he was like, "You're never gonna give it back to me, are you? Because you like hanging out with me." I'm like, "I do." I was like, "Should we watch The Office again together?"
I know, right?
Let's do it, baby boy. And so then he finally did his work, but I was like, "No, you have to do your work if you want your phone." But he's very stubborn, and he kind of is calculating like that, and so he's a little bit tougher. Yeah. Whereas my daughter, she has 80 million things that she cares about that we could take away.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My youngest daughter is really hard. I take away the internet. She just got a phone. Take away your phone, and they just don't tend to face her.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, okay, even though she loves those things. So it's I don't know. Yeah, it's each child is different. You have to find the button that pushes
completely.
them. So have you ever blown up at the mall? Nobody helps me. I have to do everything here around all by myself.
Today, or
because
ever?
Because I'm totally guilty of that. But I found it got better. Because we talked last time, I asked you about love languages. And so my love language is acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
And so my children have since figured out, we've had several discussions. So it's pounded in their head that acts of service is how I feel loved. So them doing chores, them doing things around the house means so much more to me than a gift or something else. That's how I feel love from them. And so when I go on a trip, when I come back, the house is usually clean, the kitchen's usually picked up, because they've done it all, because they know how happy that makes me. And so ever since I got that through to them, I've seen a change in their attitudes towards doing chores to help me.
That's really cool.
So they still slack off.
Yeah. No, I yell. I'm a yeller, and I try.
Oh, I yell, but when I yell, they know it's It's gone.
Right.
It's
like
gone
I've
there.
asked, like, I mean, it's one of those things, like, I'll be like, family meeting where we all discuss, you know, my expectations of what I expect from you guys.
No, when I get there, I don't even do that. I'm just like yelling.
Well, like, I try to start that way, and I try to be like gentle reminders, like, hey, who's on dishes? You know, dishes are sitting here.
Yeah.
And then, by like 3:00 in the afternoon, I'm like, God. I'm like cutting
the fucking dishes.
Yeah, like I'm cutting the power to the house. I'm like, that's it.
We're living with candles.
Yeah. Like my kids are out of town this week, and my husband and I are just sort of like staring at each other. He's like, "Are you gonna do dishes?" I'm like, "Oh, interesting." I was like, "I don't think so." And he's like, "Should we just leave them for the kids?" And I was like, "I don't think we can do that either." So
run out.
Yeah. So I'm like, whoever eats last has to do the dishes. So I'm eating at 3:00. Trying to get my lunch in, my dinner in.
You don't have to do it.
I am definitely a yeller, and I definitely have to like go crazy, kind of like, and remind them all that everything is falling on my shoulders.
Yes.
And my son just rolls his eyes and says, "You're so dramatic." And then my daughter, comes to me later and is like, "I never want children or a husband." And I was like, "I've ruined them both, but you know what? I'm okay with that." Yeah. She's like, "I just want dogs." I'm like, "Oh, they're work too, and you can't make them do anything." So.
Yeah, right? They're worse. They're worse. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I know. Well, I know that a lot of women have trouble with their husbands not doing anything. And so, like, I had a first husband who didn't do anything. And if I asked him to do something multiple times, then I was nagging him. So my answer to that was getting a divorce.
This is my last nag. Sign these papers.
I was like, I'm doing everything myself. I'm raising 2 children by myself.
Yeah.
What do I have you for? So, I got a divorce.
Good for you.
I was super happy too.
I mean, not that we're advocating for that, but we're just saying, like.
But I think that, obviously, husbands do their share.
Well, I think they get away with a lot. Like, a lot of women will sort of joke, like, "Oh, he's like another child."
Yes.
No, he's like a grown-ass man.
Yeah, thank you.
Like,
right?
No.
Yeah.
And I don't like when people say that my husband is babysitting. Like,
no.
I host a lot of, like, events in the evenings and stuff. And women will say, "Oh, I don't know if I can get my husband to babysit." And I'm like, really?
No. Those are your children, honey. You take care of your children. That's not babysitting.
That's not babysitting.
Caring. We don't babysit our children. We care for them. That's what they do.
And when he goes golfing on Saturday, does he ever say to you, "Hey, honey, can you babysit the kids while I'm gone?"
Right?
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my husband's pretty good, but it's also, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my mom did everything. Like, that was the example that was set for me. Yeah. And, and my dad would, it was like, leave it to Beaver. My dad would come home at 5 p.m., get the paper, get his slippers, and, where's my hot meal? And, and my mother would, like, do it all. And I thought, I'm not doing that. Fuck that. Yeah. And so my mom will say to me, "Oh, it's because you work full-time. If you didn't work full-time, maybe it would be different." And I would like to think it wouldn't be different. Right. That, that's the part I kind of get really frustrated with, is that my friends who stay at home, when does their job end?
Right. Exactly.
Like, okay.
And I've done the stay-at-home mom thing, and it's hard because it doesn't end. Like, I went from a high-stress job. I used to work in a lab where I was used to getting praise from the doctors I work with, because I got whatever done in a speedy manner, and they appreciated it, and I knew that, and I knew I was appreciated. Well, no one's thanking you for doing their laundry.
Yeah.
No one's thanking you. And then, like, 5 minutes later, there's more laundry in the laundry. So there's, like, it was hard for me to go from that to being a stay-at-home mom, where I'm now supposed to do everything. And so when I lived in Tennessee, I kind of went a little overboard with it, like, because it was the South, and so everything is always just, like, really up there, right? We had bunco meetings, and I wrote about this in my Magnolia Steel series. Like, half the time we wouldn't play bunco, and it was the person who hosted. It was all about who could put on the most elaborate spread. So, like, you were planning for days so
wow.
Yeah, and I was an interior design major in my second career, and a kitchen and bath designer. So, I mean, decorating and hosting. So, like, there was a phase when I was in Tennessee that I was, like, baking and cooking, because I was trying to find that sense of purpose, which is our next topic. But that was how I found my fulfillment, was doing that. But then I kind of hated it, because it was like, I was like I was then in charge of all the housework, and yeah.
And then see, I'm kind of torn on that because I used to sort of rail against that. I used to sort of rail against like women who did that, and I'd sort of be like, how could you do that? But then I heard from a lot of women who actually like really enjoy that, and they love that. So now I'm sort of like, if that is your thing,
if that's your thing,
and that's what you want to do, and that is like, some people were like, no, I really enjoy it. I'm really good at it. It's actually relieves my stress. It gives me something to focus on.
Right.
Great. For me personally, that is not anything that sounds at all remotely like what I would want to do with my life. But you know what? Like, you do you.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, too, you also still need to make your children do chores because you need to teach your children responsibility. I know women who don't have their children do any chores. They do everything.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to their future roommates, their future spouses. They need to learn how to,
Well, and I just don't even think it's fair to them as adults. Like, they'll get out into the world and not know anything. Yeah. I mean, not to throw my husband under the bus again, but here I go. I mean, he lived at home until he was 30. His mother did all of his laundry, did all of his cooking, everything. Yeah. He didn't, like, we got married and he moved in with me and just sort of looked at me like, okay. And I'm like, oh, hell no.
That's not happening, honey.
And I was like, oh, no, it doesn't work that way. I mean, but he didn't even know, like, I was like, get the vacuum cleaner. And he's like, right. I was like, you plug it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You push it around. And then he was like, oh, this is fun. Why do people complain? I'm like, because you haven't done it for 30 years.
Yeah, this is all new and fresh.
Like, let me know in 5 years if you still enjoy vacuuming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, for me, I had to like train him how to do a lot. Now, luckily, he's very trainable, but God forbid. So it's like, so I look at my son now and I'm like, you must learn how to do laundry.
Yes.
Like, you must learn how to cook something and how to wipe down a counter and these things. And even just, he applied for a job this year for the first time, my 14-year-old. And I took him, he can't drive yet. So he took him over. He wanted to be an umpire at the baseball field.
Oh, okay.
And so I took him over there. I was like, I'll drive you over there. We get the paperwork. She's like, you got to fill all this out. I'm like, here you go. Fill out your paperwork.
Right.
And he was like, I've never filled out paperwork. I'm like, now's
Welcome
the
to
time.
The real world.
Like, now is the time. I'm like, I'm not going to say it's not me applying for a job. Like, you fill it out. And then he was like, what's my social security number? I was like, I don't know.
It's time to learn it.
And so I think it's even that kind of stuff of just trying to teach them, you hear all these adulting classes or whatever. Like,
I know, right? Yeah.
And I'm trying to teach them how to adult. They both got checking accounts. He got a debit card for the first time this summer. And I was like, you have to watch your balance.
Yeah, we're about to do that with my 16-year-old because she's got a car and driving. She's got to put gas in the car.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put, of course, since when they're young, you have to put your name on there too. So you can still see what's going on with her. Yeah.
Thank goodness. Otherwise, I have no idea
right?
what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I think though, managing that money and figuring out what he wants, because now, like, how interesting now that he has his own money, he doesn't want as much.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that too. Yeah. Yeah. When my children have money and I'm like, well, you got to pay for it yourself. Oh, well, maybe I don't need that after all.
Right.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm really thirsty. Can we get a drink? Sure. I'd love for you to buy me a drink. Let's go do it. Like, let's swing by QT and get something yummy. And he's like, oh, never mind. I'm like, okay, well, maybe next time.
So do you pay your kids for chores at all?
What we do is everyone gets kind of really testy about that. Like, there's like, it's very divisive. Like, we have expectations because you live in our house and you do this, because you live here. And then other people are like, I get paid for my job. Why shouldn't they get paid for their job?
Yeah.
What we do is we kind of have like a joint thing. Like, they get paid every week in our house, your job is actually going to school and getting good grades. That's really kind of what we really emphasize. So they get paid for keeping their grades up, and they get paid for doing their chores without being told.
Right.
But we take away money if the chores are not getting done or if the grades drop.
Yeah.
And so every week they get that. And so some weeks, they'll come to me and they'll be like, hey, you owe me. I was like, but do I?
Yeah.
Like, have you done it?
Let's revisit this. Yeah.
Do I really owe you that much? And then they're like, okay, maybe just like half. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I feel like I get paid for my job, and I think teaching them how to budget money, like I just said, my daughter has very expensive tastes. Like, she's always like, hey, Mom, I want new shoes. I'm like, well, then you should save up for those shoes.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I only have this much to spend. And so it kind of helps them understand money, and that we all have a role in this house, and we all have jobs to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you don't do your job, you don't get paid.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you pay?
No, actually I don't, on like basic chores. And I've tried the allowances before, and it's been a fail on my part because I didn't have the cash. And so it became a matter of, I owe you for 5 weeks of allowance now.
I do that.
And it just didn't work out. But like if I get them their own bank account, I could just transfer money over.
That's what I've been doing. That's really nice.
I could totally do that.
Because I was Venmoing him. I was like, I'll Venmo you what I owe you.
There you go.
And it's funny because we'd held him up till he was 14, and then my 12-year-old was like, I want Venmo. I'm like, actually, that would be helpful because then I could get you paid on time.
Yeah, right. Well, but I do pay for extra chores.
Do you?
Like, we have a huge yard, and like the weeds got out of control, and so like I paid my son $10 an hour to help me weed, and he's like out there helping, and
that's
so
awesome.
He likes getting cash. I also pay them often, not always, but I often pay them when they help me with my business stuff. So like if I have a big mailing thing, then they'll help me do that, and we'll have like a party out of it, and they'll help me do things. So I'll pay them for that, but like for everyday jobs, no, I don't. Yeah. But I like the idea of an allowance of them learning how to budget. Well, this is how much money you have. And then, they just can't keep going to the well. And Mom, I need this. Mom, I want that. And, it's like, well, you got money. You're going to pay for it. Yeah. Yeah. You want it, then you're going to pay for it yourself.
And I don't know that there's any like right way to do it.
I don't think so.
It's just a matter of like what works best for you and your kids and what works even for each kid differently.
Yes. Yeah, every kid is different.
Because my youngest is a saver because she is always working towards something large. Like she always wants like new Birkenstocks or something like that. She's going to need $100 for. Right. Whereas my son is like $10 here, $10 there for like gaming stuff, online. And so he's always out of money. And so the other day, I had huge boxes of books in my front hall that had been delivered. I have a big signing coming up, and I had ordered all these boxes, and they're super heavy, and I needed them taken out to my car. Yeah. And so I was like, dude, I'll pay you. Like, if you'll just move those boxes, like, I'll pay you. And he's like, how much? And I was like, we're not negotiating. Like, this is my offer. Yeah. I went and got a dolly because I was like, all right, fuck you. I'll get a dolly. Yeah. So it's like, whereas my daughter was like, I'll do it. And I'm like, you can't lift them. That's the problem. So we just, I don't know. It's trying to figure out. I wish my kids would go pull weeds for $10 an hour. Gosh, send him over to my house. I'll pay $12.
Good too. He's a pretty good worker. He also, like when he plays video games, he wants to buy extra skins or whatever. Yes. So he has to earn those. So for a while there when he was doing, what's the one that ever? Fortnite. He was always coming to me saying, do you have any jobs you want me to do? So yeah, I'd always come up with little odd jobs. Usually like my work stuff, like putting books on shelves or something or other. Yeah. So he'd earn himself $10 to buy himself a skin because I won't just give him those. He has to earn those. So even though I'm not given an allowance, I don't have to my credit card's already stored in there. Go ahead.
That could get dangerous too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He one time he racked up $300 worth of charges. Oh. He claims he didn't know it cost. I don't buy that. So he lost his video games for a month, I think. We took the stored credit card out so he could prove himself trustworthy. So
live and learn.
Live and learn. Well, I guess we're about out of time. So, I think so. Yeah, another great session. So
we did it.
We did it again. Yay.
So we need to talk about though, like just real quick. Did you read anything this week or do anything fun that you want to tell everybody?
I was in the Smoky Mountains.
Ooh.
Yeah, I went to the Smoky Mountains and was researching for a new series that I'm getting ready to write. So it was gorgeous.
Those pictures were insane.
Yeah, I drove up into the Smoky.
If you don't follow Denise on Facebook, you should because she put up some really cool pictures.
Yeah, they were like amazing. So I wasn't going to do anything in the Smoky, the national park, but I had got into Gatlinburg. I stayed in Gatlinburg. And I was like, okay, well, I got nothing else to do. So I'm just going to drive up in there and see. And I think it was the state line for both North Carolina and Tennessee. And there's an overlook and it was so amazing. And I posted a picture and there's like a lot of times I'll mess with filters. There's absolutely no filter. And like this, there was cloud cover, but the sun was coming through, and there were clouds in the valleys between them. It was gorgeous. So the next day I spent the entire day from like 11 until 6 driving through the Smoky Mountains, trying to like find the perfect town to set this in. But it was beautiful.
And did you find a town?
I found 2 towns that I'm gonna merge together. So
That'll
yeah, I have a secret Pinterest board that I was like uploading all my pictures to, and I'm gonna create my own little map of the town of what I've mushed together. So
love it.
Yeah,
That's
because
so cool.
I have a blurb for it. It's the book is called A Cry in the Dark, and it's set in a small Tennessee mountain town that was a tourist town that is like the highway's been moved, so it's kind of dead. And so
it sounds scary. Is it scary?
It's a little bit scary, but I always put humor in things. So yeah, the main character is, her car breaks down and she's stuck there, and she's in a motel and witnesses a murder in the parking lot. She doesn't have enough money to fix her car. She's stuck there, and so she starts investigating the murder because the police just blow it off.
I'm already hooked.
Yeah. So what about you? Have you done anything interesting?
Yeah, I listened to all that, and I'm like, I went to Costco this week.
Hey, that's a big deal. We have family trips to Costco. Like, I call my son and say, we're going to go to Costco. He's like, I'll meet you there.
See, I call my mom because she doesn't have a membership, and she won't get one because she's like, because then you won't hang out with me. So my mom and I hang out at Costco. So
there you go.
So I went to Costco this week with my mom.
Well, that's
fun. We got, I don't know.
How much did you spend?
Oh, God. Always 100 at least.
100? I can get out of there less than 400.
Oh, really? Well, you have a bigger family.
Yeah. And I'm always buying paper towels and damn dogs.
Whether we need it or not. Yeah. No, I always buy I don't know. They always have really good snacks and stuff. So I buy books and I don't know, swimsuits and
there's always something there you think you can't live without, and then you don't use. And I'm like, why did I buy that? Yeah. Why did I buy that? Well, we forgot to mention the sign for the people who aren't watching the video. So I have all these little block signs in my shelves, and so Jen picked this one. It's Mom, the glue that holds it all together.
So it made sense for today.
It totally fit the topic.
All right. Well, join us on Facebook at 2 Midlife Mommas.
Yes.
And leave us a comment and let us know maybe how you balance it all. Let us know how you're balancing it all and what you're doing to help spread around some of your chores, or maybe take the edge off of yourself and what you do to make some people help you out around the house besides lose your shit and scream at everybody.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll pick up some things too. Like, I'm always open to suggestions. Yeah. So, and be sure to subscribe so that we just automatically show up on your phone and you can listen to us during your commute or your walk or on the treadmill or while you're trying to tune out your children.
That's right.
So, hopefully we'll see you next week.
See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye. Hi, Denise here. I know you're sad because the podcast episode is over and now you have to wait an entire week to hear us again. But guess what? You don't have to wait. You can listen to one of our audiobooks. Like to listen to true crime podcasts? I've got several mystery series to choose from. Or maybe you prefer to listen to podcasts about The Bachelor. Check out one of my rom-com series. You can find these audiobooks and many more at Audible, Apple Audiobooks, or check out my website, denisegroverspank.com, and click on audiobooks in the menu at the top. Happy listening!